I often talk about freedom. Freedom is really my entire brand. I want to talk about a different level of freedom today. That is freedom as it relates to legacy. In order to have a legacy, the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Leaving an inheritance is important, and that takes planning and preparation. Part of that planning is just making sure that we have our affairs in order. So, how can we leave a legacy if we don't have our name on that piece of paper? If we don't even have that piece of paper? If we don't even know what that piece of paper is? And so, that's part of what I do every single day is just make sure that people are protected, make sure that people understand, make sure that people have all those things taken care of. Now, I'm not an attorney. I absolutely help people get access to them without having to worry about the high hourly cost that they normally would have to pay. The reason why I'm talking about this today is because in August, it happens to be National Make a Will Month. We have a goal to help 100 families this month to make sure that they have their wills done. Why is it important? Let me just tell you a couple stories. I'll never forget when I was actually 20 years old. I never had a will. Wasn't even thinking about getting a will done because number one, I'm 20 years old. I didn't have anything really to will in my mind, so I thought. Number two, I thought I was going to live forever. I was 20 years old. I wasn't thinking about death. Nobody really wants to think about death. It's one of those things that's so critical, so important. So, but I heard the story. It really changed how I saw things. Let me tell you the story. There was this young guy who was 18 years old. Unfortunately, he was hit by a 18-wheeler truck and he died on the scene. Now, his mom raised him, single mom. Unfortunately, the dad wasn't around in his life. So what happened though is because of the accident, the way it all happened, his estate was awarded $80,000 even in his death. And so what happened is the dad, who wasn't even involved in his life, hired an attorney and got all the money. The single mom who raised him all those years, she didn't get anything. When I heard that story, I was like, well, I mean, obviously he couldn't have known that his estate that he was going to die. Number one, that his estate was going to be awarded $80,000. Number three, that his dad was going to get the money, not his mom. He couldn't have known any of that was going to happen. That's the whole thing. Getting our affairs in order. It's not really for us. It's for the people who we leave behind. It's so important and so critical. So when I heard that story, I'm telling you, and I joke about this sometimes. I got my will done right away at 20 years old. I willed my sister, my TV, my brother, my jewelry, my other brothers, some of my suits and clothes and stuff like that. In my mind, that's what I had at the time. But understand, of course, I've updated it since then as I've gotten older and acquired some things and things like that, some assets. My point with that is that I just want to make sure that you know that it doesn't matter how old you are, it's important to have, even if you feel like you don't have much, because you never know what could happen in that time, in that moment. I'll give you another story though. There was a gentleman who was married to a lady. Unfortunately, the gentleman passed and he actually had a will. The challenge is that the will hadn't been updated in years, so many years that when he passed, the ex-wife got everything because he never updated it. That's another important thing is it's not just a matter of having one, it's a matter of updating it and keeping it updated because things change in our lives. We get new cars, new houses, new grandkids. We change our address, all kind of stuff changes in our lives. Our life is fluid. We want to make sure we're constantly updating that will because again, it's not for us, it's for who we leave behind. My whole goal is to simplify and demystify the all the little stigmas and thoughts around it. And there's a lot that could go into it too. These days, getting a trust is a big buzzword. A trust could be pretty expensive. We actually have a special program where you could actually get a trust for pennies on a dollar compared to what it costs. I would, if you're thinking about a trust, and maybe you may be thinking, well, what's the difference between a will and a trust? That's exactly why you want to reach out to me because I'm not going to tell you the differences. Of course, you could look it up. What if you could actually speak to attorneys? They can tell you based on your situation and help make recommendations and ask. You could ask questions and things like that. I'm only sharing this here with you because again, it's National Make a Will Month. I just want to make sure that we can leave that legacy for our families. It's so critical. It's so important. It's a big piece, in my opinion, to freedom. Freedom is not just money. Freedom spans across a lot of different things. It's freedom in spiritual, it's freedom in families, freedom in time, it's freedom in relationships. There's a lot of different levels and tiers, in my opinion, to freedom. This is just one of them. Is having a legacy and leaving a legacy. There's levels to that as well. This is just one of those levels. It's having your affairs in order. It's having your estate planning done. It's having your name on that piece of paper. It's having the piece of paper and making sure that we're thinking futuristic, what we want to happen with our family. I'll give you another example. There's a case years ago. It was, I think her name is Terry Schiavo, if I think I'm saying it right. She found herself in a vegetative state where she couldn't make any decisions for herself. The challenge is that the parents wanted to keep her on life support in case something happened. She pulled through. The husband was like, she wouldn't want to live this quality of life. The husband, he was the one that had the rights, and he decided to pull the plug. You can decide ahead of time. It's called a living will. You can decide ahead of time who makes those decisions for you, who you want to make those decisions. You can even decide what you would want that decision to be. There's all kind of stuff. Again, I'm here to tell you, disclaimer, I'm not an attorney. I can't give you any legal advice. I'm telling you that typically attorneys can charge anywhere from $200 to $300 an hour, $500 an hour, even more than that. We've made it available where it could be like the cost of a meal at Applebee's, basically. And now you can have peace of mind protection for your whole household. Really make sure that your family and your loved ones are fully protected, taken care of, not even just the estate planning, but just a bunch of other stuff as well. If that's something that you want to know more about, or you just want to get a little bit more information, just comment Will. I'll make sure that I get that. Or what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description notes where you guys can, see some information and reach out to me if you want to know more about that. I'm telling you, it's so important, so critical. I could tell you so many stories I'll tell you another story. I was meeting with a guy. He was excited and proud because he was living in the house that his mom left to him in the will. Thankfully, his mom had a will. The challenge for me is that he didn't have a will. So you're proud of this testimony from your mom. Are you paying it forward to your children, to your future generation, to your grandkids? See, oftentimes kids or grandkids don't get a chance to be in the home that they were raised in because a will is not in place and they end up going to probate. And by the way, I will tell you, just because you have a will doesn't mean it's not going to go to probate. Having a will is better than not having one. I do want to mention that, like I said earlier, the next level from a will is a trust, which is better than a will. Again, it all depends on your situation and your circumstances and how you want to navigate through that. Again, my recommendation is speak to an attorney. Speaking to attorneys can be expensive unless you have a service like what I have. You can call them as much as you want, and you don't have to worry about the bill. So, but these things are important for us because when we're attaining these levels of freedom, we're attaining this lifestyle that we want to have. We want to protect it all. We want to protect things and make sure that our family is good, because family is a big part of freedom, in my opinion. I mean, this is what we're doing it all for. We're doing all the striving and all the getting that we're doing for our families. Shame on us to do all this stuff while we're alive, not make sure that we put things in place for when we're not alive for our family. I'll even say, even this very video right here, this is another level for me as it relates to my legacy, because I wanted to have something where I wanted to have a digital footprint, if you will, where my future generations would be able to maybe be inspired by me, maybe learn from me, even when I'm not here. You know, this is totally separate from, the whole estate planning thing. But the same when it relates to legacy. That's part of the reason why I do what I do in terms of, you know, the digital stuff that I do in terms of YouTube and my social media stuff, because I have endless content that they can consume. They can know me and know all the depths of me based on the content that I put out. They can see the experiences that I've had. I don't have that opportunity. I barely can remember what my great grandfather looked like. I have to really recall. But here, they'll be able to not only see, they'll be able to watch and be able to do that for generations to come. So that gets me excited, knowing that I'm really leaving a legacy. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Find ways to leave a legacy, not just financially, just something like this with your presence, where you can, and maybe you don't put it out to the world like I'm doing. Maybe you have private videos that they can watch. That could be a thing too. I'll probably do that as well. I'll probably put together a file or a folder of videos that are dedicated specifically to my family that they can take advantage of. The point is, legacy matters, legacy is important, and legacy is a part of freedom. It absolutely is a big piece of freedom, because freedom is not just financial. Freedom transcends a lot of different categories. I hope this was helpful. If you got some value, don't forget to comment or subscribe. Ask questions too. If you guys have any questions, I'm not an attorney, so I can't answer any legal advice. I'm sure I can point you in the right direction. Like, comment, subscribe, and go to the description if you guys want to find out more about this program and these services that we provide for people. We already have almost 5 million members who have this service across the country. So this is huge. And if you take advantage of it, I think it'll be very beneficial for your family. So hope you got some value. God bless y'all. Take care. And we'll see y'all over the top.